Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we are starting from 4.5. 4 पहले किया है. And let me just show the arrow. So here we will start with Rupert Sheldrake. And the request is the same. Have the pencil and paper. So you can write and remember and have an open mind and an open heart. Take the good stuff and leave the bad part. And just the connectivity between Yasmi Abasir and this movie. What do you think? So this is Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, and he has studied a lot of stuff like natural sciences, philosophy, history of sciences, biochemistry, and then cell biology. And just like his different bachelor PhDs, his research is also pretty much versatility, full of versatility. And first, his research was on plants, the aging cells in plants, how क्या कहते हैं, roots, shoots, तक वो travel कैसे करता है जो plant का hormone auxin होता है. And then he went to study the rainforest in Kuala Lumpur, and then he went to the study. This was also his part of a study in Hyderabad, India, for cropping system development, and the farmers still follow it, this system. And then when he wrote the first book, which is A New Science of Life, that was when he was spending the time in ashram. So from here, the book starts, the middle of the chapter 4. I didn't, I'm not discussing about Fujiwara Dam because हम last book में कर चुके हैं. So what he says is, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake is talking about the worldview, the stuff that we can see and the stuff that we can't see. And he focuses on the further understanding the worldview of these two. And then the Nature, the scientific journal, as usual, dismiss his book and ask like a theoretical sense, just burn this book. And what he was putting forward was, if something happens twice, then there are chances it will happen again too. And then he's questioning all about those accidents, those crime scenes, the history, the long trends, why these things keep repeating itself. So isn't it strange, the repetition of these events? And then he talks about, usually science normally approaches objects that they can't see with their eyes, and that is reductionism, and to isolate physical phenomena. But although he studied all those sciences, but his approach is different. Same thing repeats. He's saying one thing is repeating, so it means a morphic field form हो गई है. आगे इसकी definition आएगी basic. And then resonance with the morphic field, resonance to waves amplitude affect हो रहे हैं. With morphic will increase likelihood that event will happen again. So it's not an energy-based information. It's more like a blueprint of an aircraft, or like in architecture, of a building, or in a town planning of a town. तो समथिंग इसको उस चीज से रिलेट करें कि जब आप कोई चीज लिखते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल अफर्मेशन, अपने गोल्स, तो उस चीज के चांसेस ज्यादा हो जाते हैं अपने आप को भुलाने के कम. सो ही इज टेकिंग द एग्जांपल जो हम पहले बुक में पीछे पढ़ चुके हैं ऑन हिज लास्ट टू, द ऑन राइटर. So what Dr. Sheldrake is saying is that it is, for example, let's take the example of the resonance theory. So what is happening in the resonance theory? Events are also capable of resonating just the same way in the sounds. तो वो जो cymatics में अगर आप YouTube पे YouTube करें, so you can easily find a resonance theory. So just like those sounds, events में भी ये चीज होती है. And these are the water formation, those crystals जिस तरह के वो shapes करते हैं, whether it's any form, water, liquid, solid. And then he's introducing what is morphic field in one word. Morphic field is, he refers to the location where such events take place. And what is the morphic resonance? It is the phenomena of repeated similar events, like a chain, like a cycle. And then, as compared to science, people, more open-minded people, took this thing seriously. And then doctor departed from existing parallel. Actually, what was his problem? जो science को पसंद नहीं आया था कि he departed from the path that science has led. So his theory explaining mysteries, but the positive side of his that uski theory is explaining those traditional sciences are unable to explain. And then this Glycerin crystal, for the first 40 years जब ये discover हुआ था, कोई इसकी crystal formation नहीं हुई. So everyone assumed कि इसका crystal नहीं बनता. But then क्या कहते हैं, once back in 19th century, Vienna to London, it was going, तो एकदम क्या कहते हैं, in a drum इसकी crystallization start होगी. And then this crystallization of the glycerin form when temperature was dropped below 17 Celsius or 63 Fahrenheit. So the crystals formed for the first time, morphic field was created, and all glycerin started to form again. फिर ये चीज repeat होने लगी. So वो इसको भी morphic resonance से कर रहा है. Again, to understand the morphic field, you can also understand, it's a kind of organizing field or organizing field of animal, a human behavior, social system, cultural system, mental activity, contain inherent memory. Or in other words, you can say morphic field it is a field of like agar human के level पे आपने समझना है, it is a field of habit set by true habits of thoughts, आपके अंदर thoughts or by आप habit कर रहे हो in actions, and true habits of activities or habits of your speech. So most of our culture, in one word, is it habit? Can we say that? So let's come back here where he's discussing here that when someone becomes aware of something, फिर एक experiment हुआ था book में, उसमें वो ये prove करने की कोशिश करता है, when someone become aware of something, other people tend to become aware too. यानी चीजों के chances बढ़ जाते हैं. So again, this is morphic field जो भी मैंने just explain किया, and this leads to increase in correct responses. Again, that experiment, and then you can read. And then he's not saying कि सिर्फ ये चीज इधर रुक जाती है, but it also affect, DNA is not only the reason, it also affects our DNA. Okay, why people in a family share the similar features. So there is DNA, but also there is a role of morphic resonance as well. And then he say his theory also helps to understand the coincidences, which we refer as a synchronicity, and also the phenomena of the collective memory. And can we link the next sohbat, Islam wala part, a good company wali cheez here, and then. And so this shared pool of memories, knowledge, information of social group identity, that is all collective memory, and then archetypal pattern, all things are being. And this was a quote, there are no coincidences in our lives, there are only providences. Providences basically, the intervention of God in the universe, and God extraordinary intervention in life of people, jisko aap keh sakte ho, miracles. So again, linking back to theology as well, theology mein different words hain isko kehne ke, divine providence ke le, God providence ke le, but the meaning is same, God intervention in universe, in our lives. So there is a general providence, and then there is a special providence. General providence is, God continues upholding of existence, ye jo Allah Taala ne ek natural order of universe banaya. And the second is, God miracles wala. So does it have any link there or not? You have a question, you may decide. And then he's also so basically research Dr. Sheldrake is on, he was talking with the writer Masaru Emoto. Okay, his research is basically about the living organisms and their behaviors, but he's pretty much interested in the observation on the observe के जब एक चीज को जब हमें observe किया जाता है हमारे पीछे से, तो how the gaze affect, हमें कैसे पता चलता है हमें कोई observe कर रहा है, and when water ignore किया जाता है तो उस चीज को भी study करना चाहता है, but particularly वो gaze में इस चीज को study करना चाहता है कि जब normal people उस water को देखते हैं, या जब evil people देखते हैं तब उसके crystal पे क्या formation हो रही है, या जब क्या कहते हैं special people, talented people उस पे देखते हैं तब उसके ऊपर क्या effect आ रहा है, people types basically. Then he also talks about the telepathy कि जब he did over 200 experiments, dogs and their owner कि जब वो घर पे आने लगते हैं, so dogs gets to know what is that, how they got to know about the author, kya ho raha hai. And then he's saying our lives are made possible not just by seen energy but the unseen stuff. And what Rumi says here, everything you see has its roots in the unseen world, and the forms may change, yet the essence remains the same, the core. So what is your essence? The core of us being a human. And what he's saying is, Dr. Sheldrake, be aware of this. Again, connect this with the ittaqullah and consciousness, awareness, and pay attention to those around us, not just log jo aapke around hai, aapke ird-gird kya ho raha hai, aap us pe bhi attention karo. And why is it important? Because the act of looking at something has an effect on it, and we are not practicing. That's the problem. We are not practicing that knowledge. So when you will practice that knowledge into the amal, the action, then the things will start changing. For example, at home, parents' attention to children. For example, this example, the mother to the girl, it's for skinny girls only, take it off. And then at home you are like, diet, what nonsense, eat this cake, so we are doing these things to our youngsters. And then he suggested to the writer ke aapne water rice ke sath to experiment kiya hai, because but udhar rice ki wajah se there are microbes, you should experiment khali empty water ke upar, ignore thank you and you fool ka. And then he's saying what about the morphic field jo hum insan create kar rahe hain, because we have the ability to change the world. Everything in the world is linked and connected with the dot concept and the circle concept. Whatever you're doing right now is being done by someone else at the same time. So what's your thought on it? We need to learn, unlearn, and then relearn. And you learn who you are by unlearning who they taught you to be, that conscious and unconscious biases and fallacies. So are we producing pain, suffering, morphic field, or are we producing the good crystal, hexagonal, natural love, gratitude? And again, link this to EI. This was again summarizing all that, this was a poem. You can read it, Mario de Andrade. And it was basically, how in liberal literary studies, maybe aapke paas that core value, that ethical value, these stuff comes out, so we have to broaden our study. So first, for example, from EI point of view, make mistakes, grow. That's how you will grow and learn lesson and then move on, apne past ko daba do grave ke andar. And then he asked also two questions, what living is for and what is your goal. And then he says, okay, let's look at our friend circle. You are known by the first 5 people jo aapke jinke ird aap zyada time guzarte ho, ya 3 people. So his question is, let's surround ourselves with people who know how to touch the hearts of others. By touching the heart, what are you doing? Creating the good, positive resonance and morphic field. And let's maintain that softness, being kind, to the soul and to the others, and being in harmony with ourselves. But the problem with us is we are also failing in even EI class, CD classes. That is that, we are there to argue with people and we do not act according to our age. That is our problem. We are facing this. And we are into the, inflating our ego. Understood, we are highly, but we have to satisfy our ego, this so-called nerves, that adult, child, and parental ego. And again, what we are doing is manipulation, bullying, negative, negative, negative. And then now link this with the last paragraph of chapter 4. I'm just going to read it out. Whenever you sit in front of water and send out the message of love and gratitude, somewhere in the world, someone is being filled with love and gratitude. You don't need to go out anywhere. The water right in front of you is linked to all the water in the world. The water you are looking at will resonate with the water everywhere. And your message of love will reach the souls of all the people of the world. We can cover this world with positive love and gratitude. This will become a glorious morphic field that will change the world. And it's not about time and space. Now here, wonderful and marvelous things are possible. So again, he's also saying, time and space restriction bhi is pe nahi lagti. So we need to be careful. Consciously, unconsciously, whatever you are throwing out, it's going to come back. And this is his band TED talk. You can hear it out. Pretty controversial topics he's discussing, जिस पे science का कोई जवाब नहीं है, इस पे science इसको controversial कहती है. This is a documentary you can watch, and this is his YouTube page. And then at the end of this chapter, water crystals are shown. कि ये pictures water को दिखाई गई, तो ये crystals बने. Again, hexagonal shape. Why? And then water exposed to music world, जिनकी frequency natural थी. And then this was in Washington, D.C. and New York. The water of some large cities in the United States form beautiful crystals. This may be the result of the effort because they are protecting water using the cedar tanks in Manhattan. So again, related right now, okay, hum Pakistan mein kaun sa use kar rahe hain, or wherever you are. And then this is again Amazon River, and this is spring, one of the best tasting water in Japan. And this is Rome, Venice, and Bern, London, Tokyo, Paris, jahan ke crystal ki formation hardly hai. And then this is EI, link it with EI, what Bruce Lee is saying. Okay, instead of buying your children all the things you never had, you should teach them all the things you were never taught. Materialistic versus knowledge. What is the higher dominant hierarchy to you? Let's question ourselves. Material wears out, but knowledge stays. And then the words abracadabra, pretty much famous in Harry Potter, is actually a Hebrew phrase meaning I create what I speak. So word cards spell, and that's why it's called spelling, and words are energy, and use them wisely. You are throwing that off. And then chapter 5, he's he's just introducing a concept कि ये चाहता था कि इस तरह की lab बने, which is again form of, it's more related to concept to artistic people or architects or town planners. Okay, he wanted a laboratory. You can read it, and they are pretty much physics subjects. All subjects are here: physics, mathematics, biology, medicine, astronomy, oceanography, philosophy, religion, chemistry, engineering. So yani everything is connected, nothing is different. And then he was talking about his teacher, which is, you know, even at 101 years old, he has a straight back and he goes for golf, but he practiced some unique breathing method, which jahan wo apne pure kya kehte hain, he fills his lungs with air and oxygen to whole body while thinking about energy of universe gathering around him, providing him invigorating energy. I mean, basically, it is affirmation. The infinite power of universe will be concentrated and bring true peace to the world. So what he's saying basically is that, you know, there are ghostly particles can't be seen by today's science because it exists between 3D and 4D edge. So words spoken with and again, now if you connect with the affirmation, words spoken with the determination have strong power that gathers these ghost particles. Then in last chapter, he talks about the ultrasound and vibration कि जो water polluted हो गया है industrial chemicals से, so that is treated by ultrasound and vibration. If you go into the study of little bit infrasound audible frequency जो हमारी है 15 hertz to 20k hertz, so ultrasound starts वो जो हमारी जहाँ limit खत्म होती है 20k hertz, और वैसे भी हमारी limit with the age कम होती जाती है. And then he's also saying कि पहले आप उसको ultrasound के साथ treat करो, then you treat it with vibration, because जो polluted water है जब आप उसको 1100 के हर्ट्ज अल्ट्रासाउंड उस एनर्जी पे डालते हो तो आपका जो केमिकल है वो ब्रेक होने लग जाता है, डिकम्पोज होता है, और फिर उसके बाद आपका केमिकल एयर बबल में ट्रांसफर होता है. इट्स स्टिल ब्रेकअप बट स्टिल टॉक्सिन्स खत्म नहीं हुए, टॉक्सिन्स आर देयर. तो उसके लिए फिर क्या कहते हैं, टू गेट rid the toxins you have to introduce the opposite vibration frequency, यानी two opposite waves, एक already present है toxins वाली और एक आपने करनी है. And then he also case, you know, के the analog music जो पहले था और अब जो digital music है, इन दोनों का क्या difference water crystal पे निकलता है. And then he says everything that exists, the writer says everything that exists in universe, is it parallel, is it multiverse, and is it like intricate, extrinsic, just like what Boham was saying, micro world or macro world, it is inside into each other. And this is the Sanskrit in which you call in that language mandala or mandala, circle ko kehte hain. So what is it trying to tell us? And a way of thinking is what leads to the conclusion is that everything that takes place in universe is also taking place within our body, because whole universe is inside our body. And then constantly ये जो water arrive हो रहा है अर्थ में बाहर से, and the earth not only destination, यानी इसका मतलब अर्थ नहीं है जहाँ सिर्फ water आता है, और भी कोई planets होंगे जहाँ water stop over करता है. So this water pool concept on other planets, what is it? So जिस तरह हमारी बॉडी में लीवर फिल्टर करता है ऑन पर डे अप्रोक्सीमेटली 200 लीटर ऑफ वाटर, फिर उसको आगे ऑर्गन्स में आगे जाने देता है. So is it just like Earth is also acts like a lever to the whole solar system, purifying the water circulating in our solar system and returning to the universe? And then these were, I will attach this link, they were pretty interesting, जो आप kids के साथ अपने बच्चों के साथ, youngsters के साथ experiment कर सकते हैं इस page के ऊपर. And then at the end he's finishing that water has an effect on our personalities. Is that so? Because उसकी एग्जांपल ये देता है क्या people injured in incidents accidents was happening there, जब उनके blood मिलता है, transfusions होती हैं, तो they saw images of places that have never been there, or they see the memories of past that wasn't theirs, यानी ये उस इंसान का है जो उसको blood लग रहा है. So transfusion is the cause. So and it has the ability to change their personality. And then it was just I'm connecting it आगे personalities के साथ. Again I will attach that link to जिसमें वो toxic personalities की बात कर रहा है कि choose your friends well. Why it's being said again and again and again, चाहे हमारे आबाओ अजदाद हों या चाहे आप इस्लामिक concept पढ़ो or even other ancient पकड़ो, because it's all about the energy, आपके ऊपर असर आता है. And then it was the 7 toxic personalities. इसका मैं link डाल दूंगी, and के we should be really, you know, mindful about these people. हमें खुद को इनसे बचाना चाहिए. The first is self-centered, arrogant, and जो अपने आप को center of the world समझते हैं. Another is those who think, you know, they have a say on everything and they don't even know, like they are experts. And the third is the pessimism, dark pit. You know, they don't have always, they are like doubting, discouraging. And then the fourth one, backbiters, gossipers, pretty much heavy, you know, in Islam. And then the one who complain a lot, and the one who are lazy, and the last one who are flaw finders. So अगर हम जरा इसको EI के साथ connect करें और हमारी classes के साथ connect करें EICT में, what are we doing there really? Or are we any of these, or any of our friend, or anyone from our family, anyone? And these are other books of Masaru Emoto. You can go for these studies. And now just the background. Okay, what's happening in here is the background of what we discuss is this whole book is about, basically spiritual consciousness, the health, the soul, mind, body trio, the life linked with water, the growth versus stagnant, whether it's water, whether it's a human growth, just like a plant grows, from a seed to an tree. And what makes a human is move, change, flow, that is what, just like AI, like it's constantly learning. So learn and learn and relearn. And then health concept, homeopathic. And I would like to, just to give, homeopathic Islamic, क्या कहते हैं उसके वर्सेस में इस्लाम में हिजामा है. So what do we know about hijama? So we study it, and the water memory and the crystal versatility. And the chapter 1 was all about the soul crystal and the vibration. That vibration is existence, everything vibrates. And then we studied the quantum mechanics, the different phenomena and the alphabets and how they make words, sentences, spellings, and they're affecting the cells, each and every fundamental unit of each and everything, and how music, piano, sound theories, and what ancient civilization says about or practice about it, and winning without fighting. Here the most important concept was resonance, human resonance, and the Rumi concept. Before speaking, always think, is it true? Is it really necessary? And is it kind, empathetic? Chapter 2 was all about water soup, why it's reacting abnormal, one of the only liquid that dissolves most of the stuff. And then we discussed there were pretty much a scientist, Louis Frank, Kazao Murakami, and Greg Brandon, John, and the pH inside our body, pH outside our body, and the gaze, how water and gaze and unseen world is connected, and the energy vibration frequency relationship. Chapter 3 was all about, it was the basic whole book is revolves around anthroposophy, but chapter 3 is majorly about crystal and its link with the mirror and the soul and the periodic table, each and every element, and the vibrational sound therapy starting from Tesla and to current times, and emotions, elements, and star positions. These things have linked, and the Schumann frequency, which is also from the Harp book, 7.83 hertz, the frequency of your brain as well as the earth, and it's linked with the prostration and opposite wave, how it cancels the effect out, the direct effect, the holistic approach. Chapter number 4, morning was about, the initial chapter was about the moment by moment, the world is changing, and how it's linked with, morphic field, morphic resonance, DNA, genetic synchronicity, the gratitude, humbleness, humility versus ordering others, the cloud experiment, again, the quantum genetic psychology, David Boham and Rupert Sheldrake were the two scientists here, and the gaze effect, telepathy, and unseen. And chapter 5 was all about the hexagon concept, what is inside the hexagon, the point, circle, and hexagons, unique breathing. How can we change we can control our body by just changing our breathing, and the power of affirmation, writing, saying out loud. The more senses you use, the more, you remember. The ultrasound versus vibration, digital analog music, Mandela, Earth as a lever, and personalities and transfusion. So Jazakallah khair, this was all about, and the book is finished. So Jazakallah khair for your time and energy.